Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I received some gifts in the mail from Banggood and I'm super excited to share them with you. Here we have our keycap set, and we have our keyboard. The first thing that I would like to mention is that I really like the clean and minimal appearance of the packaging. It doesn't look too flashy and gimmicky. The same goes for the backside, it just displays the features of the board and keeps it really clean. According to the checkmark on the box, I was sent the white version of this board, but you'll see in a moment why that was misleading. So as you guys can see, apparently the white version of this keyboard is actually a frosted or polycarbonate look, which I'm not complaining about. I think it looks cool, but I just had it in my mind that the board would be a solid white. What you see in my hands is the instruction manual on how to access different features on the board, but I won't bore you with that. And here we have a pretty decent keyboard cable. I really like the leather clasp, it makes it look really classy. Also included in the box is a sample pack of 5 different Feker switches. The first one being a palm stem tactile emerald switch. The second one being another tactile switch in the crescent white colorway. The third is probably my favorite of the bunch. It's a smoky tactile switch, but I think it looks kind of like an Oreo. The fourth one is a linear pink switch, which I noticed a bit of spring ping from. And finally, the last one is oddly familiar. Underneath the keyboard, we have a switch puller, which is a nice addition. And finally, for the part you guys have been waiting for, the keyboard itself. Under the plastic cover of the keyboard, we have an included polycarbonate plate and standoff to replace the aluminum one if you like a softer typing experience. This is a little adhesive placard that sticks to the back of the keyboard in a designated slot, but I'm gonna opt to keep it off. The keyboard is pretty light and there's some hollowness due to the space needed for the keyboard's 2 batteries. The rotary knob is actually really nicely weighted and I like how it has a glossy metallic finish. It really makes it stand out. The board's layout is an exploded 75%, which is one of my favorite layouts for a keyboard. On the back side of the keyboard, there are 2 legs which allows for 2 different typing angles, and additionally there's a switch to change different modes as well as a wireless dongle. Alright, with the introduction of the board completed, let's open it up and see what we're working with. As you can see in the corner, there's an attempt at a gasket mount to isolate the plate assembly from the rest of the board. The plate and PCB are held together using screws. Here you can see the north-facing PCB in all of its glory. If you've been on this channel long enough, you'd know that I enjoy a softer typing experience, so I'm going to be swapping out the aluminum plate for a polycarbonate one. Before I can do that, however, I have to take care of the stabilizers. I'm going to be using some fabric band-aids to help tighten up the tolerances for the clip-in stabilizers. I'm also going to try my hand at wire balancing, but it's honestly pretty difficult. After that, the stem, housing, and wire gets a generous coating of Krytox 205G0. I'm also going to be applying the PE foam mod to this keyboard to try and bring out a poppy sound signature. When assembling everything, don't forget to use the included standoffs. I was going to stuff the bottom case of the keyboard, but since it's a frosted finish, I don't want to ruin any of the light bleed through or ruin the appearance of the board. For the switches, I made some more of my favorite Holy Bobas since I honestly can't get over how much I love these switches. And they avoid north-facing switch interference. For the keycap set, I went with GMK Amethyst clones, and while I don't support blatant rip-offs of artists' original work, they caught my eye on the Banggood website and I like the colorway. With that being said, I will link the original artist in the description of the video because I believe in giving credit when credit is due. Overall, what do I think of this keyboard? Honestly, at a base price of $93.99 at the time of this review, I'm having a hard time recommending the keyboard, not because it's a bad board, but because I think there are better boards to be had for a bit more money or even better alternatives at a cheaper price point. Some issues that I had with the board aren't necessarily specific to this board, but rather issues that plague budget boards in general. For one, a big factor for me is the north-facing switch orientation. Another is the hollowness, which is a result of the battery compartment. Maybe offering a denser muting pad would alleviate some of the hollowness. And finally, the implementation of the gasket mount method was an appreciated effort, but I don't think it was executed in the best way. This is because the gasket material is a fairly dense rubber, which doesn't do too great of a job flexing for a softer typing feel. Honestly, I couldn't tell the difference between this and a top mount typing experience. With that being said, I think the board is a good looker and is pretty functional, but not quite there at an enthusiast standpoint. If you enjoyed this review, please consider subscribing to the channel as I have more builds planned for this year. Also, I have affiliate links and coupon codes should you want to start your next keyboard build, and it would really help out the channel. Thanks guys.